Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Brush. We are a video podcast dedicated to all things the World Star Nail Artist Competition, brought to you by Scratch Magazine. So, if you're listening right now and have no idea what we're talking about, be sure to open the Spotify app and watch us on all your devices. I'm your host, Winnie at Winnie is Awesome, and we are here today to talk about the wild card component of the WSNA competition and why you could be looking at a winner from this pool. Joining me today are two lovely ladies, the brains and operations behind it all. Please help me welcome Beth, Livesay, and Helena Biggs, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us. Jeez. So the wildcard competition is, the component of the competition is really important because someone could be winning the whole competition from the wildcard deck. Beth, I know you came up with this idea, so do you sort of
Sorry.
torture someone?
I apologize. Yeah.
Do you want to sort of go over what the wildcard competition is and how it came about?
Sure. So I think we were talking about having this main competition, World Star Nail Artist, and then we love the idea of giving people another chance. So we decided that every other week we could have a wild card contest so that contestants who made it to the initial group that we had picked from the applicants could still try to play along. And also that if you were dismissed from the regular challenge, you could go back into this contest and try again. You know, we see so many great artists and everyone has an off week. And it's hard for us to let them go, especially toward the end. So I just think this was a fun way to give people another chance to create more nails and for us to see more from them, and for Scratch really to have more content, to get another chance to get to work with these amazing artists. So it's a fun idea.
It's such a good concept because I know people get sad about being eliminated and all that stuff. This way, nobody's going home.
We don't want to lose anybody, and you can win the wild card week too. So it's more chances to win a challenge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how would judging work, Helena? Can you go over that a little bit?
So it's very similar to the way that the main challenge judging works, in that they are each entrant is scored on a number of criteria. So again, they've submitted photos of their nail creation and also a written summary as to what their nail creation is and the techniques and the products that we use. And also because social media is such a huge part of what nail artists do and how they promote themselves and how they get their nail art out there. That's why we've asked them to provide a 60-second or up to 60 seconds of TikTok, Instagram Reel style video that we're also assessing them on. So all of that we score as judges, but we also have a voting element as well. So the public can have their say because it's down to their opinion as well. So it's a weighting of 5%. Towards the final score of the wildcard challenge. So that 5%, the more votes you get, obviously, the greater you have of you know, your score. And that goes together with our scores as judges to find the winner of the wildcard challenge.
Ooh, and the winner goes to the finale. How crazy is that? But I want to reiterate, it's not a popularity contest. The public voting is to involve the public to help us get excited about these amazing artists, because we want to spread the word about how great they are. And sometimes it does help us with like scoring in case we have a tie, we use that 5% to sort of see what the true result is. So definitely not a popularity contest. We definitely want to say that.
Just to make a note on the legitimacy of the voting as well, we only allow one vote per email address and per IP address as well on the website. And for the wildcard challenges, you only have 24 hours to cast your vote. So it's not like people can, drum up everybody they know and all of their followers to, bombard the website and vote. They've got 24 hours and it's one vote per email address or IP address. We're not allowing multiple votes because it's like you said, it's not a popularity contest. It's more like, who do people genuinely want to give their vote to?
Exactly.
And voting is free. It costs nothing.
Absolutely. Most important, because opinions are free, right? So
absolutely. Your favorite's your favorite.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes us so great.
One of many things, Winnie.
Oh, gosh, not biased at all. So like a lot of people would say, wild card is the easier way out. You only have to do one nail. Like, would you guys agree that if someone says wild card competition is easier than the regular challenges?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's fun about the wild card, there's still pressure, and if you're competitive, you're competitive, right? It doesn't matter what you're making. And everyone has the same opportunity to go to the same finale. So that's what's cool. But I think the wild card, especially looking at this week's, I just felt like it was more fun. Like maybe it was the challenge, but I just felt like we could kind of let our hair down a little bit. We just got to see these really yummy nails, and the videos are 60 seconds, so it's like a little bit breezier to watch. So I think it's still challenging. I think they only have 4 days. For some of these nails we saw this week, I kind of can't believe they did that in 4 days. And to make a video. So it's still not easy. But for me, I was like, oh, it's a nice little breather, right? It's just very different from the other contests. And I really kind of liked it.
Yeah. I think the same. I think you can't really compare the two. You've got the core challenges, and you've got I think for the first challenge it was 5 nails that our top 12 had to create, but they've got 2 weeks to create them in, so they've got 2 weeks to kind of think of the concept and then create the nails. This is 1 nail, but like you said, it's 4 days to conceptualize, to plan, and to create. And so each is kind of 6 of one, half the dozen of the other, really. They're same but different. So it depends on how your time falls as well as a nail artist. It's just like you're having a really busy weekend, and you have to do this alongside what you're doing, whether you can give it that time. So I think it's a challenge, but it's a fun one.
And think about all the ideas you would have and having to narrow it down to just 1 nail.
Right. You can't really scrap and redo.
Yeah.
You just don't have the time. Yeah.
In some prospect, it's kind of harder.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I could see that for sure.
Trying to narrow it down. So I love the wildcard challenges. This first one is so good.
I think it's one of my all-time favorite challenges. And Winnie, I'm gonna give you the credit. Winnie, you thought of it.
No, we thought of it all together. Like remember we were brainstorming. We're like, it's Scratch's birthday. But,
Well,
and then we're like, what about cake? So okay, let's talk about what this first challenge is. Helena, you are the crafter of the the wildcard challenge. So why don't you introduce us to the first challenge?
I would love to, because I totally agree. This has been such a fun challenge to kind of see, and I love the results. So it's Scratch's 20th birthday this May, and we just thought, you know what, it's time to eat some cake. Let's see a cake on a nail. And that's the idea that you came up with, Winnie, and it was like, right, now let's see how we can challenge people in terms of this cake. So it had to be at least 15 millimeters high off the surface of a nail tip or of a nail, and it could be on a tip shown separately or on a human hand. And we also wanted to see a little bit of dimension, so taking in what was done in the preliminary challenge, we wanted to kind of see our competitors add some dimension and some shade shifting. So we introduced, we said it had to include a candle with an element of a flickering type flame. So that gives up so many design opportunities. And we wanted to see some hand painted skills as well. So we were looking at some sculpting, we were looking at some kind of dimension shifting elements. And then we also wanted to see precision in hand painting. So we were like, right, it's got to include a hand painted wording on it. So we've seen some happy birthdays, we've seen the scratch font printed, we've seen, you know, some invitations, and so it's been really good to see where our contestants have taken this brief, and it's they've all been absolutely amazing.
I have to say, like, after looking at all the entries, it's great because you can see that they're taking what we've been telling them sort of into fruition, and it's like we're like, don't be so literal, but we want a cake. So how do you not be literal?
But no two cakes were the same. That was my part. No one had the same idea for cake. I mean, I love it. Yeah.
That was so refreshing to see, and I think that's why the wildcard competition is so fun to watch.
Yeah. Exactly.
So let's dig into these entries, shall we? Yes. I feel like we need to talk about Loy Van first.
Oh, that one. Gosh. It was the first one we received. So it was the earliest entry, and it's so complex, but yet sophisticated and stylish. And the fact that he created that in 4 days, I love where he's the shape of the extreme now and the needle point at the end, and he's put the cake in the middle. It just plays with your mind. And look at the candle on that as well. It's just, it's so clever and it's so precise. Like all of the details.
Yeah.
This one had the wow factor for me. I thought it was
Yeah,
it's crisp. The 20 is like perfect. I want to know if he made that from scratch or he traced it. I don't know. It's just perfect. And then, you know, it's an actual candle, which is just really, like, no one else did that, which I thought was kind of funny. Like,
Flames and nail products, though. Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's true.
Have a ball.
I didn't think about that. Whoops. Yeah, okay. But hopefully he's safe. And, but yeah, like, it was celebratory. Like, it looked like fireworks to me. I don't know. That one was very beautiful.
Yes, I agree. The way, and I feel like this really is in his advantage because, you know, his first submission, we didn't see any talking, we didn't see any like crafting of the nail and anything like that, and he was able to take that into consideration, and he submitted like 3 videos, I think.
Oh,
yeah, so that was great. I loved it. And you guys
are really pushing our contestants, and they're progressing every single time they undertake a challenge. They are pushing themselves and they're trying new things, and that's all we can ask for a world star nail artist. The fact that they keep wanting to learn and they keep pushing things forward, and that they're being innovative and they're being exciting, and they're trying, like, even if video wasn't a strong point, they're now playing with that, and they're growing on that side as well as on the artistry side. It's really exciting to watch.
Yeah, I think everyone had fun with this challenge. I just felt like they all kind of had a little bit more fun.
Yeah, I really love that we're seeing some of the 21s came back.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot, which I loved. And I commend, and I do want to shout out to Dana and Nathan. I commend both of them.
Yes.
You know, they were eliminated from the first challenge, and they're not quitting. So I applaud them. I really do. And they turned it around and made fabulous cakes. Again, not like anyone else. So they did it. Yeah.
And I think the beauty of these wildcard challenges is that it doesn't mean that you're out. And I think we just need to reiterate that, because if we look at one of our nail coalition members, Livesay, she entered a different nail competition a couple of years ago, and she moved into the wildcard deck. She ended up winning the entire competition. So it's anybody's game. It is anybody's game. So I think with the wildcard contestants and anyone that was in our top 21, it's please keep entering these wildcard challenges because it could be yours at the end. The title could still be yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, look at forgive me, Fruke, like, you know, and I'm
Yes.
sorry, I'm butchering your name, forgive me again, but like, I'm so glad we got to see her piece because look what she did. Like, we asked for a cake, we got scene, we got birthday party, like beautifully made, like the balloons, the cake spins. Like, we wouldn't have known this about her, right? We knew she was
Yeah.
a great artist, but we got to see more from her, and I'm so happy because I loved seeing her work and seeing what she
Yeah.
can do, her color, her use of color.
So
This made
clean.
me so happy. Like, this is what you want for your birthday. Like, this would be a great party for Scratch. Like,
I know.
this whole scene right here. It's just beautiful. I mean, I was so enchanted with
Man,
her design.
Yeah.
these things are so, we're doing us no favors here because every time I look at these videos, I get so hungry.
You made me so hungry. All 9 of you. I ate pie yesterday because of you, because I didn't have any cake. We had a pie and I regretted it instantly, but I needed something.
It's so crazy. They all look good enough to eat. And yes.
Totally. Donuts. We had like donuts. We had like
Ugh.
strawberries. We had like macarons. And you know what I thought was funny? I was halfway through looking at them. Okay, a cake, you usually think like on a nail, the outside, right? Like how it looks.
Yeah.
But did you see like Aaron and Melissa, like they thought about the flavor inside? And I was like, you didn't even need to do that. And she's like, this is a chocolate cake. Like, this is a strawberry cake. And I'm like, wait, so you actually, like, it wasn't even enough to do your elaborate outside. We had to now think about the flavors and show the right flavors.
Yeah.
And that to me was like bonkers. I was like, they thought about every aspect of this design. So and a couple people did that. And I was like, man, they thought about it so much harder than I did. And I loved it.
I know. It's amazing to watch these guys process the information and how they sort of make that into an actual thing. So that's why this is so great. And I love the strawberry part. It looks so yummy.
I know. Like, she didn't need that there, right? It wouldn't have been breaking any rules. It would have been fine, but like, I love that they had to go, you know, deep in and go that deep. So I really appreciated that thinking.
But I think this is across all of the challenges. I'm loving seeing how, more than anything, the interpretation of every single piece, because some of them are so off the wall. We saw that in the main challenge recently. But in this wildcard challenge as well, I have to pinpoint Sarah K. Abbott as well.
I loved her.
It was almost like she, obviously, in contrast to some of the others, these were sort of more muted, beautiful pastel tones. It was almost like an old school tea party.
I was going to say it was tea party. It was tea party.
It was like Alice in Wonderland meets Bridgerton vibes. And I like, instead of just putting the cake in the middle of the nail and then what to do with the rest of the space, she added flow with the teapot down onto the pour of the teapot going down onto the cake and then finishing. So we had all of those interesting intrinsic layers to look at. And it just, the more I looked at it, the more I saw. And I just thought it was so clever.
I agree. I love this one. And again, like, no one did the same cake. Some people just did tiers. Some people did multiple cakes. Some people did scenes, you know, like she did and Frike did. And I mean, boy, there's just a lot to feast your eyes on, right? Yeah.
I know. I love the moving components on all of these entries. I want to give a shout out to Elizaveta. Do you remember her? Look at this.
Helena's on this cake. Helena's on there.
This cake. This really made me smile.
Helena,
and the cake like goes like this. It tilts. So it's like, oh my god, it's
got
gonna
a cart. It's like,
and it moves.
I was gonna say too, the tilting cake. Have you seen how like people are recreating the Sleeping Beauty cake? Like, that's a popular thing, like from the old animated you know, the fairies try to bake a cake and it's like lopsided because they don't use the
Oh,
magic.
yes.
Um,
Yes.
so I have a nephew, so I watched this recently. Um, so, but like that's becoming a thing again. And I saw on Instagram before we had this challenge, people were trying to bake that lopsided cake. And then we
Oh,
saw here Elizaveta and Dana, they kind of did that
yes.
Yeah.
and I was like, it's kind of cool in a way, right?
Yeah.
Like I kind of like that they didn't just do like a straight up and down. They kind of played with it a little bit and like enjoyed the messiness of it because baking's messy, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
It's
I
messy.
love there were loads of scratch logos, and it's
Yes.
quite a hard
Yes.
logo to
The type.
write. It's very angular,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
really hard when you're hand painting. And
Yeah.
Dana did an amazing job of the scratch logo there that we can see on screen. It was beautiful, but everyone like executed it so brilliantly, and I'm so glad that like so many people had a go at doing those fine lines and those precise lines as well.
Yeah. I mean, look at Nathan.
Nathan's nails are awesome too, by the way. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop staring at it.
I know.
I was like, wow, so beautiful. No, I love. Yeah. So, like you said, like shout out to these two for, you know, raising to the occasion and just not give up. So good job, Nathan and Dana. Remember Karina? Do you guys remember Karina?
I loved her.
Look at Karina.
Yes.
Like, what happened? What is going on here? She just completely surprised me.
Like, let's go for it.
Oh, she took 15 millimeters and she just times it by like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah.
I love that you're pushing
Yes.
yourself.
Oh, beautiful.
The detail in those layers with the strawberries and with the donuts, and it was just again one that was just so interesting to look at, and just this was like really yummy to look at. I loved Karina's.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I really want to know how many of these 9 bake.
Yes.
If they could start like, or like, you know, I feel like they'd all be good at like pastry decoration. Like, I don't know. Tell us if you're listening to this.
Tell us.
Or
tell
start
us, please.
because I think all 9 of you could excel.
Yeah, they'll be on Bake Off as their next reality.
Absolutely. They could totally do it. Oh,
I love that.
The one that's in the US and what's it called? Is it cake?
Do you know yes. That is so fun. And the Instagram accounts for that too. I've been watching those. Insane. There's things I'm like, that's definitely like they did one for Texas that was like a pack of meat. And I was like it had the wrapping on it. And it's
what?
Like it's a cake. It's not meat. And I was like, what is this? Crazy town. Crazy town.
Oh.
It's just nails because some of these just look so like the texture. I'll go back to Sarah K. Abbott in her sponge and her filling. It looked glossy. It looked textured, like the sponge texture of it.
Yes.
It had those spongy holes that, and it was I mean, so many of them. Literally, it's so difficult to judge because they're all so different. And
I know this was tough.
Criteria to kind of try and narrow it down for us because they're all brilliant, and I can see any of these being in our top 3. That's the beauty of this.
Yes.
Same. Yeah. I was hoping, Winnie, you weren't gonna ask who we think should win because I really didn't have a clear. Like for me, I was like, there's a lot of people who could win this. I don't know.
They're all so good. I think we really opened up like a side of these guys' creative brain.
Yeah.
That they're just like, bang, okay, that's it. I'm gonna bring it for the rest of the competition. So now that we've gushed over, remember we said we weren't gonna talk about all of the entries.
They were all good.
We ended up talking about all of them.
They were all good. They were all really, really good. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed.
No.
I just
sorry, not sorry.
I want to point out Erin's for her sort of flame direction as well. I'm not sure if we've seen a picture of hers on screen yet, but I love that she did the 4 different tiers. The really cool elements at the top, like the different textures that were there and
Yeah.
the different colors and
Yeah.
the dripping of the candle. It was just,
Yeah.
I loved like this one as well. Was just again really exciting to look at.
And
Yeah.
she had scratch on the side of the cake, which when I was thinking about it, I was like, that rings true, right? Like in reality, yes, a lot of time it's on the front, but also if you have like a ton of cakes, like it makes sense, right? If it's a
Yeah.
big, you letter the side. 'cause
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
people to
yeah.
see it. So I was like, that was a good, like a different way to interpret again. But I liked that she
Mhm.
did that too, so she could do her textures on top.
She
Good idea.
made 4 cakes. She made 4
Yeah,
cakes.
why make one cake when you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have 4 days and I'll bake 4 cakes.
Right.
Wow, all good. Whatever. Okay, so I mean, they're all really, really good. I don't know how we are going to figure this out, but what do you think differentiate between a good entry and a winning entry?
That's tough. I think for me, precision is a really important thing.
Yeah.
I like clean lines where they're meant to be clean lines. Obviously, with this cake element, you can be very playful with it, and you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect because cakes aren't perfect. But when it comes to the hand painting side of things, I wanted to see that crisp kind of precision, and also in the kind of coloring and the styling that was used as well. So I think that in terms of the technicality, but also between a good entry, anyone can take something quite literally and just do a very, like, here's a cake, it's on a nail. But the ones that added those different elements, whether it was tiers, whether it was putting the cake in the middle of the nail and some elements around it, as so many did, I think something that takes a winning entry is something that has thought outside of the box a little bit more and use the cake as part of the story and not all of the story.
Yes.
I
Yes.
like that.
Ah, that's beautiful. I think that's it. Okay, everybody can go home now. Well, I think because of the nature of the wild card challenge, it's sort of like it's on one nail. So I think detail is key here.
Yeah.
Like you said, precision and detail. And this goes for our regular challenges too. I want to be intrigued and want to like magnify and go zoom in to all the little details. And like you said, Helena, like the sponge on the cake, the little white parts of the strawberry, like you can see people actually painting that instead of just getting, you know, one of those what do you call those?
Oh, the
I don't know.
Fimo.
Yeah, one of those things for the cake. Like, those little things that you do are the little details that gets you extra marks, I think.
Yeah, and I think here, since we obviously have 9 beautiful cakes, like cakes are really good, they're top tier. I was kind of looking at the videos, I think a little bit more as a way for me to differentiate between good and winner potential. And it's really hard with 60 seconds. It's really hard to get out what now I want more because these were amazing nails. I'm like, oh, they could have each done 5-minute videos, right? We would have been like really into these videos. But it was really challenging to just have 60 seconds. So I was looking at, like, you know, how much technique did they show? Were they showing it up close? Was their write-up supplementing that? Was it helping me understand what wasn't in the video? You know, did they explain a lot in the video? Were they giving tips? So I think those were the things like that I had to use the video to sort of differentiate in this challenge because everyone's was really, really good. It wasn't clear to me alone on the art, like who could win. I don't know. There were a lot of potential winners.
Again, the wildcard challenge is not easier than the regular challenge.
It's for us. I think now we've really made a huge mistake. I think we just made things harder for ourselves. So,
oh man, what are we gonna do? I honestly don't even know what.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll eat cake and talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Because we're using the same judging form with the structure and the criterias and stuff. So, man, we're in trouble. So keep your eyes peeled. The winner will be announced when? Friday?
Friday, the 26th at 5 p.m. British time. So wherever you are around the world, I'll let you all figure it out. But 5 p.m. British time on Scratch Magazine's social media and also via e-marketing as well. So you'll also be able to see it on our website at scratchmagazine.co.uk/WSNA.
I love that. That was beautiful. Okay, before we say our tatas, do you guys have a winner in your eyes?
You weren't going to ask us that, Winnie. It's too hard.
This episode is done.
Well, we gotta get it in. We don't have time, you guys. Okay, let's just name your top threes. Wow factors.
Loy, Fruque. I'm so sorry, Fruque. And I think Sarah, and I've known Sarah for a while. I've seen her art for a while, and I think this is probably the best thing I've seen her do. So I'm really excited for her.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's hard. I'm gonna say Loy because it was the first one that came in and first one that I was like, wow, you've set the bar really high here. I also love Sarah's because of the flow down the nail, and I'm also gonna, because she excelled on the height front, Corinna.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really good.
I love that one too.
Yes.
I love them all. There's elements of every single one that I absolutely love. So yeah.
I know. And I was just gonna name off the rest of the group that you guys didn't
That's
name.
a good way to do it. There you go. It's fair. There you go.
Shout out to Nathan, Dana, Elisabetta with the tilting cake, Fruque. Oh man, Fruque with the balloons, Sarah K, Melissa. All your delicious cakes makes us hungry.
It did.
How dare you?
We're hungry for more challenges and we can't wait to see what you do. Look at that segue.
Yeah,
no
that's good.
Challenges. No more food.
Yeah. We want to actually say, if you withdraw from the wildcard challenge, you do not get to come back to compete, right? So there's one thing of saying goodbye to our regular challenge group to move into the wild card. You can stay there forever until the end of day. We would love to have you. But if you leave the wild card challenge, just live there. We love you. Make cakes all day. All good. But if you leave the wild card, you can't be wild anymore. So please do not give up. Stay in the wild card, and this goes for everybody who in the future who are going into the wild card deck. As you can see, the competition is just as fierce here.
Yeah,
right?
I'd be scared to go into this wild card.
Yeah.
Well, now don't scare them.
Oh, I'd be so happy. But I mean, it's a real competition here. We just got started. It's so good.
Really so nobody should leave the pack. The wild pack.
No.
Oh.
You all did great. You all smashed that first challenge. I mean, truly.
Yeah, that was exceptional. I'm so excited to see how each one interprets the next few as well. And obviously we're going to see over the core challenges, we're going to see more people joining the wildcard deck.
Yes.
So what we're kind of looking at is when it comes to deciding which one person from the wildcard deck is going to make it into the top three, we'll have at the end of all the challenges, we'll be monitoring those in the core challenges, how they've progressed over their competition. Then they'll be joining, a lot of them, the wildcard deck, but we'll also be looking at how the wildcard deck have been progressing. And that's how we're going to determine our winner. So do not think, just because the last two people from Challenge 4 that get eliminated have any kind of head start over anyone in the wildcard. It is all to play for, because we're also looking at progression.
I love it. Yeah, it's so true. I'm glad you shared that. Yes, it's all true. We have a record. We have all the score sheets. We got our eye on you. There you go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was like, how do you, maybe you'll word this more nice. Like, I'm like, we're watching you. We'll be watching you.
Whatever gets through to them best, whichever one of the two of you. It's the same.
Oh, now's a fun challenge. I feel like the public would have some fun with this too. Well, this was such a great segment, you guys. Very, very important because the wild card is crucial to the competition. So thank you both for going through the entries with me. Congratulations, everybody in the wildcard deck. You knocked it out of the park.
You really did.
And it's not just a slice of cake. Haha. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be here all day. Thank you very much. Well, that is it for us today. Be sure to follow the contestants' journey on social media at Scratch Magazine, at CND World, and remember to help send your favorite nail artist to the finale by casting your votes for the challenges each week at www.scratchmagazine.co.uk/WSNA. Do you like how I did that?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Oh, last but definitely not least, follow us at Beyond the Brush _podcast on Instagram, where you can keep up to date on all things WSNA. Thank you all so much for tuning in today, and we will catch you on the next one. Ta-ta! Bye, everybody!